Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to call to order today's public meeting of Thursday, January 12th. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Today's meeting and Missoula County acknowledges that this event takes place in the Aboriginal territories of the Salish and Kalispel people. So, Violet, did you have an announcement you'd like to make?
Yeah, really quickly, I'm just going to throw up some instructions on the screen for people attending virtually for how to turn on closed captioning for today's meeting. Should be up on your screen now. And if you're joining us here in the Sophie Moise room, we have no public here, but there will be closed captioning on all of the screens in the room as well. We ask that all speakers today please remember to speak slowly and clearly during the meeting, which will help with the accuracy of the closed captioning. There will be multiple chances during the meeting for public comment. If you're attending virtually, during those times, we ask that you use the raise hand feature if you're using Microsoft Teams. And you can hit *5 on your keypad if you're calling in on the phone in order to raise your hand and let us know that you'd like to speak. If you have any questions or concerns, please come and find me during the meeting. Thanks.
Okay, thanks, Violet. Is there any public comment on items not on the agenda from staff in the Sophie Moise room or anyone online or on the phone? Okay, seeing none. Our current claims list consists of the following. Our claims received as of December 28th, 2022 through January 3rd, 2023. My birthday was that day. By the Commissioner's Office, total $818,118.06. We have a proclamation today that I jumped over in my eagerness to get to the public hearings. And Commissioner Vera, would you be so kind as to read this proclamation?
Sure, I'd be happy to. Whereas activist and civil rights leader Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., whose birth we celebrate on the third Monday of January, was the third person in U.S. history to be recognized by a federal holiday. And whereas through his courage and powerful message of hope and nonviolence, he devoted his life to addressing injustice, racism, and fear with peaceful protests, unity, and understanding, moving millions of Americans to enact profound social changes. And whereas he endured imprisonment and adversity in the form of verbal and physical attacks, threats, arrests, and ultimately was assassinated in an attempt to diminish his great dream of freedom and equality for all people. And whereas our nation remembers Dr. King's commitment to the principles of this nation, which he championed through his unyielding faith in justice and unwavering belief in freedom and equality for all. And whereas Missoula County and the city of Missoula strive to be welcoming and inclusive communities where we continue to deepen our understanding and practice of providing equal dignity, respect, and opportunity for all who live and visit here. And whereas Dr. King's legacy and writings teach us that we are ultimately measured not by where we stand in moments of comfort and convenience, but by what we take on during times of challenge and controversy. Now, therefore, in honor of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., we, the Missoula Board of County Commissioners, and Jordan Hess, Mayor, do hereby recognize January 16th, 2023 as Martin Luther King Jr. Day and invite all citizens to consider this quote of Dr. King's. Life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others?
Thank you, Commissioner Vero. And that is a joint resolution of the Board of County Commissioners and the City of Missoula. So moving on, we have one public hearing today. This is on a resolution of intent to call an election on the question of establishing a community council for the Clinton area. Is Chet Krauser on the line, or who is presenting this to us today?
I thought it was going to be Chet, but I don't see him either. If we maybe just want to give him a...
Or is the 0539? I don't know who that is.
Stay with us, everyone. We are tracking down the staff person to present this.
I thought this was Chet, but I misread it. It's Chloe. A friend of mine, actually, which I didn't realize. Yeah, John Hart. Pinch hit. Oh,
Oh, you're on your way. Okay.
like physically. Okay.
Okay, hang with us. Our presenter is on his way. All right, we are back in session. Chet Krauser, would you be so kind as to introduce the resolution of intent?
Absolutely. Apologies for running a little behind. So for the record, I'm Chet Krauser. I'm the Chief Lands and Communities Officer for Missoula County, and here today to present a resolution of intent to the commission to call an election for establishing a community council in the Clinton area. So to give you a little bit of background, my hustling is going to make me have to catch my breath here. In 2021, in the fall, we were approached initially from some residents in Clinton about creating a community council. And so that began sort of the effort to work on what they would need to do to, in fact, move that forward. They had a petition that was submitted to Missoula County in 2022. They were able to get about 80 signatures on that petition from members of the community. And that then started the process of our lands and communities staff meeting with them to talk about next steps. At that time, we had about 15 to 20 folks, and that was in April of 2022, to just run through kind of what is a community council, what are some of the things that you're going to want to consider, and then again, what's the formal process to have one established. This past summer, we worked with the commissioners as well as our attorney's office elections to just talk through those mechanics and get some timelines laid out. And then we've now identified that timeline and all of those process steps that the community council would need to take, or the members of the community would need to take to, in fact, have a community council created. So to run through the purpose of this resolution of intent today, and then I can run through some more next steps or ask questions that you might have. The idea here is that the commission could adopt this resolution of intent to create the council. That would then start the process for folks in the Clinton community area, specifically those within Missoula County that are part of the Clinton School District, to submit a letter of intent to serve on the potential community council if one was created, as well as a commitment to follow through with then filing for election in future kind of iterations of filling those vacancies on the board or on the commission or council, sorry. So if we receive at least 8 interested applicants during a period of time that would start following the adoption of this resolution of intent through the end of this month, so January 30th, then the commission could proceed to adopt a resolution to then put that on the ballot. That being a decision on whether or not to create a community council, that would then go to the members of the Clinton community, that school district, those members who would be, or those community members who would be part of this community council district, to vote on that in the May 2nd special district election. So that's the point in time in which the community would decide. From there, there would be a process to appoint members, both those who had submitted interest applications during this first part of the process, as well as others who might be interested later on, should that be something that is approved by the voters. I might stop there, and if you've got questions, I'm happy to answer them. if there's some more details or things that I can fill in. So far, we have reached out to folks in the community that either had reached out to us initially, those that we've had conversations with in the interim, as well as a couple of contact lists for recent projects that we've had in Clinton, including the Parks, Trails, and Open Lands efforts and Clinton Community Center folks, et cetera. So we are still waiting to see what sort of responses we get. We've not had any direct responses to our office, but it is on Missoula County Voice, and we have had folks looking at that website. We at least see kind of some visitor activity there. So that's just a quick update on what we've received as far as initial feedback from the community.
Okay, thanks, Chet. Any questions?
No.
Okay, this is a public hearing, which I will open. Is there anyone in the room or online who would like to comment on this resolution of intent? And we do see one phone out there, number ending 0539. I'm not sure if that's someone with Missoula County or a member of the public wanting to comment on this. If you're wanting to comment, please unmute yourself and begin talking. Okay.
Hi, I'm Michael Loftus. If you guys can hear me, sorry, I
Yeah,
don't have
go ahead.
video.
Go ahead, Michael.
I was looped in through Missoula County Parks, Trails, Open Lands. We're in the beginnings of the process of a skate park out here, and there hasn't been much of a chance for people out here to respond. That was 2 days ago, and that's the first most of us out here have heard of it. So I don't want the lack of any applicants so far to say that that's a negative against whether or not this community wants that. I've been a firefighter here for about 4 years, and there has definitely been last couple of years some talk about doing something to help make sure our voices are heard here at the board and elsewhere in the county. So
Thanks, Michael. We really appreciate that perspective.
Yeah, thank you.
yep.
Any other public comment on this resolution of intent? Okay, we will close the public hearing. I do have a question for you, Chet. So you mentioned that January 30th is the deadline to submit letters of intent from area residents who would be interested. Should that be included in the resolution? I'm not seeing it in here. I'm wondering if it actually ought to be included in instead of in the first now therefore be it resolved statement. There's May 2nd, 2023. If would it make more sense if that was replaced with January 30th, or it just seems like somewhere in here we ought to mention that there is a deadline, or maybe John Hart, if you have any.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me at all to do that, Dave. I might defer to John if there's a particular perspective he has that would influence that.
So what I'm suggesting would be audit to read something like, now therefore be it resolved that if the Board of County Commissioners received no fewer than 8 letters of intent from Clinton area residents by January 30th, 2023, and the rest of the verbiage remains the same.
Lori or Chet, how do you guys, that seems maybe tight turnaround, but have you been having these conversations for a while so that would not be difficult for the community to get those letters? Are people primed and ready to go, or it seems a little tight if no one's heard about it and now are expected to find 8 people to write these letters by the 30th?
Or is that being triggered by some deadline to get this on the ballot?
That's the biggest driving factor, is just the timeline to make sure that we would be able to get this on the next ballot. If this was to go, I mean, we don't have to necessarily do it at this very first election. It would just put it out likely a year before we got back to a time frame to do that. We've had a number of conversations, again, going back to, 2021, 2022, when we were first being contacted by members of the community. So I think that concept has been out there. Like the comment we heard earlier, I think this latest process might be a little bit newer. We just haven't been able to get direct connection to some of those initial contacts we had. But the tight turnaround is geared toward, should that be something that we see support for, that would be the earliest opportunity we could get it on the ballot for the Clinton community. Does that answer
So
your
I guess
question?
what's the deadline for getting it on the ballot? Is it like February 1 or something? And that, because I think the point is, could we stretch it out an additional 2 weeks? We cannot.
But if we agree to this today to put it on the ballot, it goes on the ballot on May 2nd, and then in the next 4 or 5 months, then
Although,
people can send in a letter.
well,
right?
although we're not,
Do I not?
I think the question is, do we want to put something on the ballot where there's no one interested in stepping up to serve on the council?
But then if no one's interested, then won't it?
Well, then people, it'll be on the ballot and folks will create a community
Oh,
council
it-
for which there's no one interested in actually applying to be on the council.
And if I may, this resolution of intent is a first step to kind of ask that question about how much interest there might be. So should there be 8 applications or letters of intent that are received by the county, then at February 2nd, there would be a resolution that the commission could
Oh.
adopt that then would put it on the ballot. So it would essentially just be, it would just be paused. The concept wouldn't go away. It's certainly something we could continue to talk about. It's just that in all likelihood, it'd be up to the decision of the commission. If we didn't see that support, there'd be a question then that I think you're posing, Dave, as to whether we should move forward and putting it on the ballot.
In February.
Yep.
Thank you. I missed that.
I
Thought
probably
today was
forgot
the
it.
day. So that's great. Okay. I feel better about that then.
Okay, so back to you, John. As far as this first whereas clause, ought we to put in here the date by which we received the 8 letters?
Yeah, I have no problem referencing or stating January 30th or 31st in that first be it resolved.
But why wouldn't it just be on the February date? Or does that matter?
I don't think it matters what date we use. We just got to make sure that that there's enough time to then, assuming there's interest from 8 people,
We need to know that there's there's 8 folks that are interested by February 2nd or whatever the.
right, because then we need to schedule the public meeting for a resolution to create the council, or a resolution to put this statement on the ballot and let the Clinton community decide whether or not they want to create the council. So it's we're backing up from the May 2nd date and trying to give ourselves plenty of time, not scrambling at the last second.
So I guess to take another run at this, when do we need to, presuming we adopt the resolution of intent today, what is the next action that we would take here?
The next one would be to have time elapse where we could get those letters of intent, get interest from the public in Clinton. And then if there were enough of those submissions, we would bring this back to you on the 2nd, February 2nd.
February.
With presumably, should there be support, a resolution you could choose to adopt that would then put that decision about creation of the council on the ballot for the Clinton school district.
So then, yes, we do need to kind of have this spelled out in our resolution today. It would
Right.
make sense to me.
So January 30th or 31st?
We had the 30th, Lori.
30th is a Monday. Thursday, the 2nd would be our public meeting here.
I think that's fine. And John, I guess I would defer to you, but I assume that should we receive a letter right up until the time of bringing that to the commission on the 2nd, we would probably honor that interest.
I think we'd absolutely honor the interest. What I'm thinking though is just with the agenda requirements, the noticing requirements that we have for this meeting, I know it's hard for things to then get uploaded into Civic Clerk, get approved, and Violet to have enough time to put the packet together, get it published. So was probably the thinking behind the January 30th date, rather than bringing it, till the Tuesday before the Thursday meeting. But Chet, to answer your question, yeah, I mean, I guess we need 8 letters of intent by January 30th. But if we got more after that time period, somebody came to the public meeting on February the 2nd, we'd be thrilled to have even more interest.
And so Dave, I guess we're happy to put that additional, we can add a whereas statement or add those dates if you feel like that's helpful as part of the resolution.
Well, I think right now the way I'm reading it, the May 2nd, 2023 date there doesn't
It's not the
make a
full-
lot of sense. So I think we would just strike that in the first whereas so that it would read, therefore be it resolved, the Board of County Commissioners, if the Board of County Commissioners receive no fewer than 8 letters of intent from Clinton area residents by January 30th, 2023, the electors in the county school district shall be given the opportunity to vote. With that, am I missing something there?
No, that makes sense.
I mean, you could put the opportunity to vote on May 2nd, if that is, you could put the date in then.
We could, it's already up in one of the whereas
Oh,
clauses.
okay.
above.
Thank you. Then, yeah, I agree. We don't need to do that.
Dave, can I have you just say that one more time?
So just strike on May 2nd, 2023 and replace it with by January 30th, 2023. In the first whereas clause, or first therefore be it resolved clause, sorry.
Okay, that sounds good. I've got that. And then you still are comfortable leaving the third whereas clause that does reference May 2nd?
And we have to take out that comma after residence. 'Cause otherwise it'll sound,
Yes.
Funny.
Strike the comma after residence.
One, can you help me with which statement you're at there?
Okay, the first the first therefore be it resolved. It will read, now therefore be it resolved that if the Board of County
gotcha.
Commissioners receive no fewer than 8 letters of intent from Clinton area residents, strike the comma, add and strike on May 2nd, 2023, and in its place add by January 30th, 2023. And everything else remains the same.
Perfect.
Okay, this is, we would have been done like 10 minutes earlier had I not brought up this little date thing. So Juanita, would you like to make a motion?
would like to, move to approve that the resolution of intent for the Clinton Community Council be approved
As amended. I will second that.
as amended. Thank you. Yeah.
Any further discussion or comment from folks in the room or online? Okay, seeing none. All in favor? Aye.
Thank you.
Okay.
all.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Folks in Clinton, Michael, spread the word that we're looking for 8 interested folks.
Yep, we've already started doing that. Like I said, the first I heard about was a couple days ago, and there hasn't been a heck of a lot of time for us to do much anything. The PTA is involved. I'm the spouse, significant other of the PTSA lead. Mandy Sear, the district super, has also put notice out to the parents as of yesterday, I think it was. So hopefully we'll get some traction out here for you guys and be able to show enough interest to actually make this quick turnaround happen and get it done this year rather than next.
Excellent. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
participating. Any other business to come before the commission today? Seeing none, we'll be adjourned.
Great day, everyone.